Hi, folks. Michael Rosso Film Photography Podcast. I'm here with Matt Marrash.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Not every day where we get together talk about a brand new film stock. This is coming out of the UK from the Harman factory. For those of you who
hmm
don't know, the Harman factory manufactures all of the Ilford emulsions. Matt, do you want to tell the folks the big surprise?
Sure. So coming today, I really wish this, by the way, Mike, I wish this launch was on a Friday, not a Thursday, so I could say it's a large format Friday.
Ah,
Uh, but nonetheless, I'm still super hyped. It's a great time when we can get more options available in large format because that's usually the biggest crux is not every film that's made out there is made in big sheets. It's a different process. There's a slightly heavier base that the film goes on, and when a manufacturer commits to it, that's a pretty good sign that things are going well and demand is up. And I believe that's kind of the case with today's announcement. It's Pan F Plus. So their traditional 50 speed, super fine grain traditional emulsion is now available in 4 by 5 and 8 by 10 starting today.
wow.
Pretty cool
And
stuff.
for those who don't know, who have never shot Pan F, what is it and what's the ISO?
Yeah, so Pan F Plus is a 50 speed film, and I think that's what makes it a tough sell for a lot of people, myself included. But 50 speed film is uh can feel like why would I use this? But it's the perfect film to load up in your camera if you want that panchromatic look, so kind of seeing all the colors, but you're shooting out in really bright sunlight. So if you're not waking up at the crack of dawn or shooting in only golden hour light, you want to shoot on those bright sky, sunny days. Maybe even do some portraits wide open, even when you're outside without needing extra filtration. Pan F is a really good film for that. Now, the upside to large format is, well, if your native film size is already 4 by 5 inches, you don't have that much enlargement factor. So, for example, here's an 8 by 10 print made from the Pan F Plus. It's Lauren and Strudel. And this is just a 2x enlargement. That's nothing, basically grain free at that point. So you're getting a reduction in grain because you're not enlarging the final image as
Right.
much. But when you're starting with an already super sharp film like Pan F Plus, holy moly, there is no grain to be found in this stuff. It's pretty awesome. So I found it kind of challenging at first, but then I embraced it. I definitely did a little bit of extra research because I'm not known for shooting Pan F Plus. I think prior to this launch, I'd shot maybe 10 rolls in my entire photographic life. Not even.
Matt, what is your go-to film for large format?
I like it somewhere in the middle. So I find myself reaching for like Delta 100 or
Okay.
FP4 Plus. Those are pretty good. And honestly, depending on the developer I'm using, that Delta 100 or that FP4 Plus might be rated at half the speed anyway. So I
Right.
thought, you know what? I'm used to shooting between ISO 50 and ISO 64, and all of this shooting with cine films that are slower. I'm getting used to it, and now kind of embracing the look.
When you receive test film from any company,
hmm
is the pressure on? Like, do you feel a creative obligation? Like, oh, like, do you put some thought into how, where, and why? Am I going to shoot it inside? Am I going to shoot it outside? Because you want the results to be good.
Yes, yeah. There's definitely some pressure, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like I knocked this out of the park or anything, but the pressure was on for two reasons in this instance. One, I'm gonna knock Ilford a little bit here. They sent me 6 sheets, so I got this whole
Oh.
box, and I was like, "Oh yeah, 25." And then I got an email. They're like, "By the way, there's six in there," and I was like, "Okay." I
Okay.
was like, 6 sheets. That's a tall order. So like, there's no action. Like, if you only have so, I mean, having 6 sheets in large format is kind of like getting one of those like 10 exposure rolls at the dollar
Yes.
store. You're like, what am I gonna do with this? So like, it's very little time. I'm not gonna waste it on a test chart or anything like that. I've shot Pan F before, so we're not gonna like. I'm not gonna get super risky or anything with the film, but I'm gonna try to like put it through its paces generally. So I wanted to embrace kind of the outdoor bright light portraiture side of it. So I committed 3 pictures to that on different days, and then I also wanted to do kind of my normal frickin' trees, nature
Right.
down in Hocking Hills type stuff. So I committed the last three to like what I know best. Um, so I also wanted to try this in like different lighting conditions. So I did like a family self portrait. At the end of the day, it was kind of a cloudy, crappy day, slower exposure, and then I did super bleedingly bright sunlight, and then I did some backlit late afternoon stuff for portraits. So let me just pop these up on the screen. So there's my family portrait, my family
Oh,
self
great.
portrait. So there's I finally found my 30-foot cable release for the
Okay.
self portrait.
Yeah.
So I lined everything up. I don't actually own a 4x5 camera, so I just used an 8x10 to 4x5 reducing back on my Tachihara.
Oh, okay.
It's probably the best thing I could have ever bought for that camera because now I can use it for all the films, not just to the 8x10 films. Um, so I believe my exposure here, I was kind of pushing things. So I shot wide open. I shot at f5.6 on a 150 millimeter f5.6. So it's not a lens that's meant to be shot wide open, but it's sharp. And we're at about a 15th of a second. So if I zoom in here, um, I'm pretty decently sharp. Don't mind my dust.
Oh, yeah. No,
It's
absolutely.
it's a very clean film. The dogs moved a little bit. I got Zill's nose.
Yeah.
So there's our Borzoi Echo. There's Zill, our Greyhound, and then of course Old Man Mr. Strudel. He's
Right.
hanging in there. He's gonna be 16 this year, Mike.
That's incredible. The interesting thing for folks watching who shoot, let's say 35 millimeter, even
Hmm.
120, when you mention wide open 5.6,
They're like, ah.
yeah, exactly. It's like, so large format lenses just have a whole different, it's a whole different feel. And you're at 5.6, yet the background's blurry.
Oh yeah, I mean, not everybody that I wanted to be sharp was sharp. My depth of field at this distance, at that focal length, at that aperture, yada yada, is like I maybe have like an inch and a half to 2 inches of depth of field. It's not a lot. So to line the whole family up is a tall task. I feel like this was my least well executed
Hmm.
portrait of the three. But let's go to the next one, slide number two. So this one's out in bleedingly bright sunlight, almost high noon, and I'm holding I'm holding Echo, our Borzoi, and you can see I'm squeezing the cable release in my right hand, so it's got a little bulb. You just kind of
Yep, yep.
and this was a faster exposure. I think I did like a 60th of a second, and I have a little bit more depth of field. I'm shooting at like f8.5, so like
Okay.
f9, something like that. But check out Echo's face.
Oh,
She's insanely sharp. I mean, like, so this amount of zooming in, this is like an 80 by 100 print. So
incredible.
yeah, it's a ludicrously sharp film if you're working with that. You're working within the confines of it. So I never thought portrait. I mean, of course, portraiture, but like I don't think of an ISO 50 film for portraiture, but like now the juices are flowing, like, oh, I could do something like this and I wouldn't
Right.
have to use filters. So the other cool thing is like it's a panchromatic film. So like there's a blue sky behind me, but it's like a middle gray. It's a little bit lighter than middle gray because I overexposed.
Hmm.
But the other noticeable thing here is I developed all of these sheets of film in good old FPP 110.
Oh, nice.
So I did 4 minutes. So it's pretty quick. Develops very, very quickly.
Yep.
4 minutes at 20 Celsius. Just dip and dunk tanks. Real easy stuff. All right, let me move on to the next portrait. This portrait was actually the one I was the most worried about because it was later in the afternoon, and I had to add some fill light to Lauren and Strudel. But it turned out pretty cool. So I was trying to here I was trying to mimic an old portrait I did of Lauren and Strudel like 14 years ago. So I was kind of
Right.
doing like an updated version of that 8x10 portrait I did of them. And Mike, here's the cool thing. Again, I'm wide open. I'm at five
Okay.
six. Look at how sharp this is. Just it's a crazy. You can see me holding the reflector in the in her eyes. Insanely sharp film. The contrast is great. Contrast wise, this also prints really, really well.
Yes, it does.
So I made contact sheets of all of these in the darkroom. So I have a video I'm going to drop on the on my YouTube channel showing kind of some of the behind the scenes of making all of these.
Okay. What channel
Um,
is that?
that's so you can go to youtube.com/Matt Marrash, MATMARRASH, or you can type in large format Friday.
Right.
It'll be technically a large format Thursday, but close enough. But this film also prints really, really well in the darkroom. Obviously, I had different contrast ranges. So this was like a grade 0. This was like a grade 2. And this one's like a grade 3. But again, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get different ranges of light when I shot this.
Is,
And then yeah,
is it fair to ask what paper do you print on?
that's Ilford.
Okay.
I never not print on Ilford. Like there's very few times I probably have printed less than 5% of my work on other papers. So Ilford RC papers are for proofing, and the fiber papers for final prints, and then the multi-grade developer in the darkroom.
Okay.
Always works. And then so let's get to the stuff that I'm more. It's funny, Mike. I'm not as excited about these because it's, you know, I feel like I've done plenty of the frickin' trees over the years.
Yes.
A place I've been just a million times down at Old Man's Cave. And except I went a little bit later in the morning because I wanted a chance at using this ISO 50 film with a little bit of more contrasty light. So I went down to this area called the Devil's Bathtub.
Okay.
And there'll be a portrait of that a little bit later. So, but
Is
again,
that what it's called? Devil's Bathtub?
Devil's Bathtub. Yep.
Why
You'll
aren't
see.
people like shooting horror films in there?
Uh, because they'll probably die. Yeah, there's a nice. It looks small, but it's a lot of smooth rocks. It's easy to fall and crack your head or something. So, but again, look at how crazy sharp this film is. It's here I'm using like f/16
Right.
and a little bit of tilt action, but it's just insanely sharp. So I have some trees here in sharp focus, the moss, the rocks. There's a little bit of blur and action to the water. It's a great film. A great film for landscape. The only downside is, like many of the Ilford traditional emulsions, there's a little bit of reciprocity failure, meaning, my exposure was my camera read, my meter read 2 seconds, so I did 4 seconds. That's not bad. If you
Okay.
keep your metered exposure under like 30 seconds, you're fine.
It's awesome. It
And
really
then,
is.
so
Oh, wow.
here is the
Yeah.
bathtub itself. So you can see the water kind of like flowing down into the middle. But again, just ridiculously sharp film. And this isn't like moss or snow on the rocks. That's just sunlight. So it's able to handle a very wide range of contrast.
Mm-hmm.
This is I've kind of corrected this scan similar to how I would do like a split grade print. So there's areas that have a lot of punchy contrast. There's areas that have a lot of brights, and that's indicative of printing with the variable contrast papers through multiple grades. I also used a polarizer here to really intensify the blacks and the whites between like the flowing water and like the kind of the bottom of the bathtub. But this might actually be sharper than my 8x10 print that I have of Devil's Bathtub. This is it's pretty exciting. The dappled light actually kind of works here too. It like highlights all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, like I'm done. If I see people on the trail, I'm done shooting. And there was like I was dodging people and I'm just trying to make this work in the daylight as people would shoot it. And then for the last one, this is on the trail, kind of a little bit further down from the first two shots here. And this was with some like pretty hefty, super strong backlight and a little bit of lens flare. But again, it works. Contrast range is crazy. So I've got detail all the way down here in the water and the roots and everything. There's actually detail in these highlights hitting the tree, but like crazy sharp film. As long as you're willing to work with it, you kind of have to embrace the brighter light when you're working with a film like this.
It's incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's incredible. And did you get all these shots in one session?
Oh, I wish I could say so. So all of those portraits were on 3 different days.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So like between like the family portrait and like the next like 2 portraits, it was probably like a 4-day range because it was just like it was crazy raining and I wasn't getting any bright light. And as soon as there was bright light, I'm like, all right, everybody up, we're going outside. So we just like had to work quickly before it rained again. And then the Hocking Hill stuff was all one morning. Um, it's funny, like I had a commercial half day. So right before the commercial shoot started, I was like, I got done working out and I was like, I think I can go down to Hocking Hills.
Okay.
So I I left right from the gym down to Hocking Hills. I was maybe down there for like an hour and then I jetted back. So I was driving longer than I was like actually down there.
Right.
And then I came back, got a shower, got some lunch, and then went to my day job.
Okay.
Not recommended, but I was kind of doing it old school. So I used to do that back when I worked at Midwest Photo. I'd wake up at the butt crack of dawn. I would go shoot, maybe even like a whole large format Friday video, and then I would clock in for an 8 hour day.
Wow.
Not
So,
anymore.
so summing it all up for the
Yes.
folks watching or listening, sum it all up for
Yeah.
Pan Av on large
So
format.
there's a few things about this launch that I think are worth, why we're recording this and stating this. Very few manufacturers are willing to do what I would consider a proper run of a film on large format. And what I mean by that is I personally still feel slighted by launches of other sheet films in the past where they did not put the film on an appropriate base. So you know how some of those, like, and I'm not calling out FPP here, but some of the FPP sheet films
Absolutely.
are specialty. They're as you say, wafer thin.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, they're yes, they are specialty films, and
yeah,
we carry enough warning on the order pages
yeah.
to notify the customer of that.
This is not that.
Right.
This is a like just a like what you would expect from Ilford in their Delta or their FP4 HP5. This is going to feel like that. So it is on a specialty large format base. Now it's not thicker, it's not crazy, but it's certainly not as thin as the roll film itself, which is very important. If you're going to do like a big launch like this, that's how you should do it, without making the caveat that it's like a specialty film. But Ilford knocked it out of the park as far as that I'm concerned with that. And I'm also surprised because I went into this having the expectation, oh my gosh, what do I even shoot with Pan F? But I liked it. And I like it enough that I'm probably going to take some chances on a couple boxes of the 8x10. Now, one thing I don't know for sure, this launch is also coming right smack dab in the middle of their ULF window.
Yes.
And I
And
don't
what's ULF for folks who don't know?
Oh, sorry, that's the ultra large format special order. So
Okay.
for sheet film sizes that are not 4x5 or 8x10, 5x7, 7x17, all the weird
Right.
stuff.
Well,
Um,
Zoom is telling us less than a minute, Matt.
oh no, so
I,
it's not going to be on the ULF this year,
right.
but it's a good launch. It's going to be available in 4x5 and 8x10 starting today, and shoot with confidence.
Great. Podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. Sorry, folks, I forgot to sign into Zoom before recording.
That's all right.
So I'm a guest and they're going to kick us off. Uh, drop us a line.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the store. It's available today. And we're so thrilled to be part of this. And Matt, I'll see you soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see you super soon.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.